What's the meaning of life in a prosperous utopia? This is one of the main questions posed by the upcoming science fiction movie, Sidereus. The authors imagined a world where every problem humanity has spent millennia trying to solve — war, disease, poverty, climate change, aging — has already been solved. Artificial superintelligence manages resources. Nanobots heal the sick. Flying houses have replaced cities. And the Sahara is green again. We built this world not to be naive, but to ask a harder question. What happens next? What do humans do when survival is no longer the point? What gives life meaning when nothing is missing? This matters to us because we wanted to make a film that treats abundance not as a paradise, but as a new kind of frontier, one that demands a different kind of heroism, not the heroism of survival, but the heroism of purpose. What gives life meaning when all our needs and desires are already satisfied? Can our minds really travel through the universe without any spaceship? What will happen when humanity encounters intelligent alien life? And finally, is it better for humanity to live in a golden cage or in a dangerous open universe? These are the main questions explored by the movie. The film is a love letter to human agency, hope, and curiosity. It introduces a world of abundance, where socio-economical problems have been solved, leaving humanity free to discover its final frontier: mind. On the surface, Sidereus is about three friends trying to stop a man from destroying an exomoon. But the real problem it explores is much deeper. Why do so many people feel meaningless in a world that has given them everything? We are already living in the early stages of this problem. Automation is eliminating jobs. AI is making many skills obsolete. Social media gives us connection without depth. We have more comfort and information but less purpose than any generation in history. And the statistics on depression, anxiety, and suicide reflect that. Sidereus argues that the answer is not more technology. It is exploration, not only of space but of consciousness too, of dreaming, of the interior frontier that no machine can map for us. The real problem Sidereus is about is this: humanity is living in a cage it cannot see. And the first step to freedom is learning to perceive the bars. Imagine the year 2050. We have achieved the impossible. War is a ghost of the past. Aging is a choice. And artificial superintelligence, ASI, has curated a world of absolute abundance. Yet despite this high-tech utopia, a nagging emptiness persists. We are a species that has solved every external problem, only to find ourselves staring at a silent universe, wondering why we are still so profoundly alone. Sidereus suggests that this isolation isn't a scientific accident, it's a deliberate design. What if the reason we have never been contacted by extraterrestrial life is not that we are alone, but that we are already occupied? This is one of the main ideas at the heart of Sidereus, and it is the one we would most love to see taken seriously. Not as science fiction, but as a genuine scientific hypothesis worth investigating. The Fermi paradox, the unsettling silence of a universe that should, statistically, be full of voices, has dozens of proposed solutions. The authors propose a new one. Earth hasn't been visited by other civilizations because it has already been colonized by a species that feeds on human emotional energy and actively prevents contact with others. The movie characters, in fact, accidentally uncovered the solution to the Fermi paradox. Humanity has been kept mentally imprisoned for millennia by the Darkles, invisible alien parasites that feed on emotions and prevent any extraterrestrial contact. Emotional parasites can be found across various mythologies, pop culture, and movies, from the succubus of medieval folklore to the dementors in Harry Potter and the fear-eater Pennywise in Stephen King's horror romance, IT. What makes the Darkles truly original is the combination of three elements: the fact that they mostly feed on negative emotions, that they do so on a planetary scale, and that they are the cosmological explanation for humanity's solitude in the universe. The Darkles turned Earth into a golden cage, keeping humanity isolated from the rest of the galaxy. These parasites do not use physical walls to imprison us. They use our own minds. By suppressing our natural evolutionary abilities, they ensure we never make contact with the stars. We are a captive population, kept in the dark to protect a valuable resource. The Darkles themselves explain it to the heroes during one of their confrontations. "You foolish bipeds. Earth is ours. We planted your civilizations. We cultivated your wars, your beliefs, your beautiful, delicious anxieties. We allowed you to build your little machines because your technology cannot harm us. But we cannot allow you to escape from Earth." The Darkles exist for one purpose: to harvest energy. Specifically, they mainly feed on negative human emotions: fear, anxiety, and terror. This realization offers a chilling reinterpretation of human history. Our trauma is a manufactured product. The wars and social anxieties that defined our species for millennia were not just failures of diplomacy. They were intentionally amplified crops grown for an alien consumer. By keeping us in a state of perpetual distress, the Darkles ensure their food supply is never exhausted. It sounds fantastical, but consider that we cannot currently detect such a species with any instrument we possess. We have spent decades searching for alien life using radio signals and atmospheric biosignatures, tools designed to find civilizations that think and perceive the way we do. We have never seriously looked for life that does not. The film also introduces space folding, an advanced skill that allows the mind and body to project to any point in the cosmos instantaneously. However, this isn't just magic. It is a precise technical and biological bridge. To fold space, a human requires a state of heightened awareness that can be induced by sensory deprivation tanks and assisted by ASI-guided neural sensors. The reason we haven't mastered this skill is that emotions and negative thoughts, the very things the Darkles amplify, act as static interference. We have been passive passengers in our own history because we have been denied the use of our primary skill. As the movie characters discovers, the shift from being a spectator to a pilot of destiny begins only when one masters the internal landscape and clears the noise. Sidereus began with a single question that refused to go away. What is the meaning of life in a world where AI has solved everything? We started building a future, abundant, ecological, post-scarcity, and then asked who would feel most lost in it. The answer was explorers, people whose identity was built around solving problems and crossing frontiers, suddenly living in a world with no problems left to solve and no frontiers left to cross. From there, the story grew organically. If interior life is the last frontier, then dreaming is the last unexplored territory. If dreaming can reach other worlds, then something might not want us to dream. And if something has been feeding on our fear for millennia, then the silence of the universe finally makes sense. The most profound shift in Sidereus is the transformation of the word explorer. At the beginning of the movie, the protagonist Florinda reflects nostalgically. How beautiful was the job of the explorer, to stand at the edge of a map, searching for blank spaces to fill. She laments that in a world where every corner is mapped, exploration is dead. However, her journey reveals that the ultimate frontier is not so much a physical location, but the capacity of the human mind to anchor itself in the cosmos. The journey of Sidereus ends not with the completion of a map, but with the opening of a door. By clearing the mental interference of the Darkles, humanity finally enters a cognitive renaissance, where spacefolding and extraterrestrial contact are common skills. We are reminded that the universe is far more complex and beautiful than our narrow, fear-driven perceptions once allowed us to see. Our true journey has only just begun. It leaves us with a singular, pressing question. If you were given the choice between the safety of a perfect, golden cage where every need is met, or the dangerous, unpredictable risks of the open stars, which would you choose? We made several significant pivots during development. The decision to make dream travel the mechanism of space exploration was the single most important creative choice we made. It connected the film's philosophical themes directly to its plot in a way that nothing else could. We also cut an early version of the villain. Adam Ark was originally a straightforward antagonist, a powerful CEO willing to commit genocide for personal reasons. We rewrote him completely when we realized that the most interesting version of this character was a man who was right about the danger and wrong about the solution. A grieving father, not a monster. This single change elevated the entire film. We cut several world-building scenes that slowed the first act, a detailed sequence showing carbon sequestration technology, a subplot involving asteroid mining, because they made the film feel like a documentary. The rule we kept returning to was, technology must serve character, not the other way around. The trailer was built using a combination of the Google Flow video generation tools, the traditional editing software CapCut, while original voice performances were recorded using 11 Labs, and the soundtrack was generated by Suno AI. The world-building, dialogue, and narrative structure were developed collaboratively using Claude as a thinking partner, not to generate the story, but to improve it, identify inconsistencies, sharpen the language, and push the ideas further than we could alone. What actually worked? Using AI to iterate rapidly on text, log lines, synopses, character descriptions, and then returning to human judgment to decide what was truly an interesting idea and what could be discarded. The AI never told us what the story was about. We did. The AI helped us say it better. The most important tool we used was not AI. It was the willingness to throw away work that was good, but not true, and start again.